Ancient Powers Program, founder of House of Life, and 24th degree High Priestess of Chem. I'm here today to talk to you about the seals of Kemet, and I want to go a little bit about information about Venus and the Sirius star system. And I'm going to start actually out with that. There's 4 different calendars in the ancient systems in Egypt, and of course you have their basic calendar, which was 360 regular days and 5 days of the gods, due to precession, and that was the basic calendar that just about anyone would have gone by, known calendar. There was a secondary system that went with the flooding of the Nile and the Nilometer, which was based on Sirius. There's a second system with Sirius, which is aligned to Venus because of once every 100 years, because of the ecliptic through precession. Venus creates a pinnacle in the sky and then creates a secondary pinnacle on the next level of the ecliptic following years. And then there's a 4,400 years calendrical system, which we probably don't want to go into too much. I don't know enough about it to talk about it too intelligently, but I do know that the seals came down on humanity during a point inside that particular system, and it's also aligned to the Orion alignment with the pyramids and the Cygnus alignment with the pyramids, the Great Pyramids of Giza. But when the Ark of the Covenant was taken out of Egypt and taken out into the desert for 40 years, and the Egyptian mysteries, or the ability to create Pharaoh, was also taken, the Sirius energies were locked down. They were closed down and they were sealed. And they were sealed in the bloodlines. It was done with stellar alignments, and it was done with an alignment to the 2012 gateway into the Photon belt. And in 2004, we had the first part of the Venus pinnacle, and then the 8-year following period with the secondary pinnacle. The seals started opening on people, and people really just started having awakenings all over the place. They had no background for it at all, a lot of them. Others did have a background for it, but their abilities shifted, or their dreams became by far more powerful. I had been working on, basically I've been working with this all my life, but in 2004, Ancient Powers actually came full-blown into being as an intensive. And the intensive was offered to, we could call them masters. It had psychologists, psychiatrists, doctors, Native American elders, Reiki masters, etc., etc., etc. Take the classes, take the intensive, and in order to open their seals and actually shift their energy into alignment with where we're going on with the energetics coming in from the photon belt. And it created a very, very quick way to learn. Hello, Mary Lee. This was just kind of a pop-up thing. I said I'd be speaking today sometime around 4:30 seemed like a good time. Anyway, a lot of people who have been being born since 1984, there's a lot of indigos and crystals out there, and they're having a very, very hard time. There were indigo and, hi Sandy, there were indigo and crystal bridges coming in from a planetary alignment, a very large planetary alignment that we had in 1962, February 4th of 1962 was an eclipse. It was an eclipse alignment, and it brought in a lot of very old souls, and they've struggled quite a bit. And they were indigo bridges to help bring in Chiron. Before that, in 1955, we had another alignment with some real special properties, but due to the stellar pieces, some of the seals, they weren't actually lifted, and there was no structure coming in with them, but the information aligned with them in the bloodlines woke up, and people started very much experiencing downloads and the ability to see and talk to spirits, all kinds of mystic abilities, and so and then of course we had the 1960s drug explosion, which that really helped a lot. It really made things really hard to deal with, because once you open up that way with LSD or acid, you've actually changed the chemical balance in your brain in an unnatural way, and without the ceremonies that go along with it, like for peyote and some of the other mind-altering things that have been held for generations in tribal communities. It doesn't work very well, but we can go through class after class. We can gain tool after tool. A lot of people became Reiki masters. A lot of people became tarot readers, began working with crystals, and have gone further and further and further with healing, but they're still stuck inside a closed quantum field, which is we're creating the same reality that was created by the belief structures of our ancestors, because we're sealed down, and this was done for basically our own protection. It got a lot of people dead for a very long time, actually, for the ones who were not in direct alignment with the closing down in Kim, because all of the lineages from the teachings do come from Kemet. They were brought in through the tribal structures, and so all the tribes have their own teachings, and we're like at a backwards place from this. And really, I know a lot of people are struggling now that the veils are down off the earth, and oh yeah, we're out of 3D and into 4D. Well, we've been out of 3D and in 4D forever. We're stuck in karma in 4D, and we're trying to get to that place in karma to make that quantum leap into that place in the 4D field where we create our own realities. And in order to do this, these seals have to come down, and we have to reconnect to the correct energy fields and energy bands that are out there. And we also have to go very, very far back into the structure of the earth and into the patterns that were originated actually even before the cataclysm. We have to clear everything from the cataclysm, and our ability to do this and to keep this out from coming back into our systems, we have to have the seals off, and we have to be in the correct structure. We have to come in contact with the energetic of the Ark of the Covenant. That has to be activated. The scarab has to be released. There's a whole series of energetics that need to happen, and they have to happen in a very specific order in order to be safe. They need to be practiced even if we are at mastery. And I've got mastery all over the place. I'm Reiki mastery in 2 different families, lineages. I'm a crystal master. I'm a master teaching drum maker. I had teachers in 2 different tribal tribal lineages here from North America, I've mastered out in so many different things. Certified, mastered, worked it, used it, and I have just about every one of the gifts, which weren't too much like gifts when I was inside empathy. They weren't too much like gifts when I was a medium and seeing ghosts everywhere. It's not that I can't see that anymore, but I can bring it on at will. When I was reading other people's thought forms, when they were coming, because people just throw their thought forms all over the place. Very few people have their auric field. Hello, Leslie Jean. Very few people have their auric field in any type of structured order. And all of us actually, from the ancient lineages, one of the seals that were put on us was a shielding process, so that we looked like others, blended in, saw ourselves as being part of others, but we never really fit. All of these seals need to be taken down, and it's very, very important. It keeps us from moving beyond mastery into our true divinity. And I will use Yeshua ben Yosef, I will use the Christos in this, as I speak to you over and over again, Son of God, Son of Man, all this I can do, you can do, and more. As are you. He didn't come here to go, oh, I'm going to hang me on a cross, I'm going to resurrect, and I'm going to bleed for you forever for your sins. He came here to say you're God. You're all sons of men, daughters of men, sons of God, daughters of God, and brought in the structure, very beginning of the structure, to start opening those shields. During the age of Pisces, which his symbol was the fish, the fisher of men, he brought a lot of people into the teachings. Unfortunately, it was wrapped up inside, brought into the Judeo tradition, wrapped up inside the teachings of Saul, or Saul of Tarsus, the zealot, and it's been used in order to manipulate. It went further into the system of power over, caused more destruction instead of moving into a time of expansion, which Pisces had a chance to be. It went into conquering, and continued with the conquering. But we have a time and a chance now to open those seals. We can do this. It's available to us. And we can understand what moving high frequency light is through us. Actually moving into a position of energy, high frequency, deep, dark earth energy at the higher frequencies. I like to call it's the third octave. We want to watch Venus for our particular Sirius pieces, but the Pinnacle and black tourmaline, and I like all the tourmalines. I have this stone problem. I love my stones. They're great allies. They're great totems. Crystal mastery was real important. Becoming a Yaqui sorcerer was really important. I learned a lot, and I got thrown backwards a lot. I had a lot of people that came in and just sucked all kinds of energy off of me, and found a way to shift this as I opened the seals. But Venus is going to be very, very helpful to us with the codes from Sirius over this summer, and our new resonance with Saturn, with structuring. So, and I got Asian Powers back, so I get to do the structuring thing from where I really come from. just to remind a few people, this is not a place where we're going to be working with any of the old gods, even the Kemetian or Egyptian energies. We are not going to be using the god structures that have been put down where we supposedly have divinity outside of us. We're going to be using this as divine function, to be aware and awake of our own divine function, of creating our own reality, and of understanding where we are at when we're in dissonance with that, and how we can break free of it and really start creating that. How we can break free of it with no guilt, no shame, no fear, and actually walk into who we were born to be, who we knew ourselves to be as children, and to heal the pieces that came in between. And I love all of you out there, and I will be talking to you in a couple days, but well, I'll be talking to you from Ancient Powers. So, friend Ancient Powers, tomorrow I'll be putting up a little post, another little post, another little post, hoping that you guys are going to come join me, and because I'm really excited. And we're still House of Life. I am the first person who's on this. I'm the second owner. The original owner of House of Life actually established in 1783, and I got it. Our forefathers were most of them are master masons, and they practiced the Egyptian traditions, and they understand what House of Life is all about. And I was thrilled to get it. And now I have the next level and next frequencies of energies to teach it to any of you who want to come join me. Give me a PM. Talk about my classes and how I've helped several other people. I've been teaching this for a long time. But Nefaka, and I'll see you in a couple days. Oh, I'll get that Venus thing up too. It's really awesome. Bye.